help me with my math sometimes. My sister Zoe, she never fails to make me smile. I want to thank all of my supportive friends and family, those of you that have just like texted me throughout the week and just been like, hey, how are you doing? Or we randomly hang out, or even if we don't see each other very often, I'm still very grateful for you, and I'm grateful for all of my family that's here and my mentors that are here. And I also want to thank the students at OSIL, because a lot of you, since my first day at OSIL, have really helped me to grow and like really helped me to become a better person. So it's been a lot of people that have helped me to kind of see who I am and see where I need to improve and see how I can help you all, and how, you know, you helped me through all of that. And then I also just really want to thank Mr. Arendt, because he's really bent over backwards for me and for my family in ways that I haven't even seen, I'm sure. And I know a lot of my family, you guys, I haven't seen all the things that you do, and I really appreciate that. So I can relate to my high school years to what I'm going to call my elevator speech. And I don't mean an elevator speech like my 30-second business proposal and showing you what I have to offer. That's not what I mean. I mean me literally getting into an elevator. Whenever I was little, I didn't really like elevators. They kind of made my stomach hurt. And so my dad, he would always pick me up every time I was gonna get into the elevator. As I got older, he had to, of course, stop picking me up because I was just too big for that. So we moved to where he would just maybe hold my hand, and then, or maybe I would go with mom, and I preferred to go with my dad, but I would just have to do that. And then eventually, I just had to start riding elevators by myself, or just go with my friends or whatever. But one day, and I'm okay with elevators now, guys, it's okay. But whenever I first started OSIL, I was still a little uncomfy in an elevator, and we had traveled to Dallas. It was my first trip with OSIL, and we went to the Perot Museum in Dallas, which I believe has 6 floors, and which isn't a ton, but it just seemed, I don't know, with all the escalators and everything, it just seemed like a lot. So I just remember I get in the elevator. I don't know if Mr. A remembers this, but I get into the elevator and I'm just kind of relaxed and trying to just be quiet and just ignore that I don't really like elevators. And Mr. Arendt starts asking me, hey, you know, how are you liking this trip? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've enjoyed it so much. And then all of a sudden he's like, and I am just back in the elevator like, oh my gosh, this full-grown man is jumping in the elevator. And I knew I was gonna be okay, I knew we were all gonna be okay, but still in the moment I was like, what, wow. And keep in mind, like, I really didn't know Mr. Arendt that well, everyone else did. I mean, I knew it was a little crazy because my mom showed me on Facebook that he had a broken nose when I first started the school. But anyways, by the time I got into this elevator, I knew that the next 3 years of my life at OSIL and just in general were gonna be crazy. And now I can still relate my life to this elevator ride. I got in just thinking I would get in, get out, and I just could like suck it up and not think about it. But inside the elevator, I now have came up with a mentor that I can go through to about a lot of things, and I know that he still does wild things, but and I can come out the elevator and know more people and come out a little bolder and a little steps higher in my life. So now that's how I've related my life to an elevator. Before I came to OSIL, I was homeschooled by my mom, which was great for the time being, but I definitely did need to go to OSIL. I was planning on just kind of, my freshman year, I mean, it was 2020, and so everyone was at home, but that was my plan either way. I was already at home completely, not even with a co-op. And so by then, I just kind of given up with doing school with anyone else, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this at home. I told my mom I would take some ORU classes, maybe my sophomore year, but like do it strictly online. Plans all changed. I ended up going to OSI. It was supposed to be for my brother. I wasn't supposed to go there, and now I'm here, and I've gone on campus now, which is like, I've done a lot of stuff I wouldn't do. I talk on the phone a lot more comfortably now just because of coming to OSAL, like little things like that. Let's see, hold on. I'm going by this a little bit. But yeah, all that to say, there are so many plans that we try to make in life that we can't go by the plan. We have to get into the elevator and not know what's gonna happen in the elevator or when we get out the elevator. So a couple things about me. I'm Kymberlee Jordan. I've been born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm a proud student at OSAL. I'm heading to OSU to pursue architecture. In my free time, I like reading and beating my family in Monopoly. My favorite scripture since I was really little is 1 Timothy 4:12, and maybe a bit controversial, but I think pineapples belong on pizza. So, yeah, now that you kind of know about my background, my elevator story, kind of how I got to OSAL, I just kind of wanted to share a couple of my favorite memories. It's really difficult to choose my favorite memory because I have so many. Same day, whenever of the elevator story, I was dancing at like a VR and with dinosaurs where they would like copy your dance move, and I thought it was so funny that Mr. Aaron came and joined me. So that's definitely one of my favorites. And then visiting OSU, our puppy days at OSAL. And then one of my favorite memories, which I feel like is a preschool, like before school, happened during the day memories. One day I went to the Gallagher's and we played Uno at 6 in the morning before we went to school, which now thinking about that's a little crazy, but it's still one of my favorite memories. Taking Riley to Quick Trip is one of my favorite memories, and meeting all of you on the first day. And yeah, I have so many, and then blasting Encanto and Frozen and Haley's car. That was before she drove it into the mud. I thought, maybe I should tell her to go into reverse, but I'm not going to. She knows better, but I didn't. But yeah, so I have all these favorite memories, and when I wrote this speech, I couldn't think of an absolute favorite memory, but now after last Friday, I was like, Mom, I have my favorite memory now. This year, Mr. Aaron was not at OSAL for a couple weeks out of the year, so Mrs. Schwimmer, Haley's mom, organized for some parents to come out each day and like give some seminars and workshops, which I thought was awesome because the parents here are really talented, and I was really glad to kind of see what they had to share. And so I loved all the parents because we had 1 week earlier this year, and then last week we had this week, and my dad had come out, and the students really liked my dad. He rapped for them. So that was some of my favorites. We laughed really, really hard. But then the next Friday, my mom came and we act, and so I was like, oh, let's do some improv and let's do some impersonations of students and different movie characters that we're all familiar with, and that is now my favorite memory because I feel like we did a lot more laughing that day than anything else, and we just ended up laughing for an hour. So thinking back, I'm like, ooh, I don't even remember all of my years at OSAL, but since that one's so recent, I will say that is my favorite. So I want to conclude with some lessons that I've learned at OSAL, and I'm going to do 6, one for each semester that I've been here, since I've been here 3 years. So my first one is, if you want to be excellent at something, then hang around people that know more about it than you. I was nervous about going to OSAL, especially my first year, because I felt like everybody was smarter than me. Whenever we would get projects assigned, I would be like, oh, I don't know what to do at all. How do all these people just know what to do? But then the next year, I kind of caught on to, even though I didn't know what to do, I'll figure it out, and that was by hanging around people that were smarter than me all the time. And then quoted from Mr. Aaron, so don't cringe. And I think he said this earlier, but through struggle comes strength. And though some days I came to school and I was really sick of hearing that because I was done with the struggle, I know he's right. Like I said, making the transition to OSAL, it was difficult for me. And even every day was kind of difficult for me just because of my experience of schoolwork before coming to OSAL, since it's not traditional way of learning. But I have no regrets now. My third piece of advice is to try things that kind of scare you, as long as they're like not like bad things. But if you know it's something that you need to do and it's kind of scary, then you just need to step out and do it. And then my fourth tip is to don't take the people that you see and talk to for granted. Because, I mean, some people pass on from this life, and I experienced that a lot in these past couple years. And people that maybe they're temporarily just not in your life whenever they were consistently in your life. And then some weeks whenever Mr. Arendt was gone, I was very sad. And I was like, man, I'm about to graduate and I won't see him 3 to 5 days out of the week. And that's still very sad to me. But yeah, so now if I see you consistently, I don't take that for granted, because I don't know how long I'll be blessed with your time. My fifth tip is persevere, persevere, persevere. It's about discipline, and it's not about motivation. Motivation's like happiness, it's only temporary. But discipline is gonna keep you whenever you don't wanna do anything. And then my last piece of advice is that everything can happen super fast. Everything today happened really fast. But just a second ago, I had to sit down and be like, okay, I can finally stop doing stuff, and this is me every day. But you just have to enjoy the moment, even though life just goes super fast. So I hope that you guys have been encouraged and inspired, and that you all have a blessed night. Thank you so much for coming. Remember to take a deep breath in and relax, and to take things one step at a time. Remain grateful and enjoy your elevator ride. Thank you.